June 5, 1944, 9:15 p.m. A dim attic in a stone farmhouse near Caen, Normandy. The air hangs heavy with the scent of damp hay and flickering kerosene. Shadows dance across rough-hewn beams as a lone figure hunches over a clandestine radio set, its dials glowing faintly in the blackout. Philippe Kieffer, the steely-eyed former banker turned Free French commando leader, isn't here in this room. But men like him, operatives of the resistance, ghosts in their own land, twist the knob with trembling precision. Static crackles like distant gunfire. Then a voice pierces the night. The BBC's French service, broadcasting from London. Les sanglots longs des violons de l'automne. The words hang, poetic and innocuous to the untrained ear. But to this fighter, hidden under the eaves with a pistol at his side, it's thunder in code. The invasion is coming, within 48 hours. Feel the pulse quicken in that cramped space. The operative, let's call him André Moreau, a composite of the countless shadows like Léonard Gilles or Robert Leblanc, who led cells in these hedgerows, wipes sweat from his brow despite the chill. He's been waiting months, years even, since the fall of France in 1940. Whispers of overlord have trickled through couriers and coded drops, but nothing prepares you for this moment. The radio hums again, blessant mon cœur d'une langueur monotone. Verlaine's poem, line 2, confirmation. Sabotage plans ignite in his mind. Cut the rail lines at Saint-Lô, blow the bridges over the Orne. His hands clench. The Wehrmacht patrols the roads below, their boots thudding like heartbeats. One wrong move and the Gestapo drags him to Caen prison, where dozens already rot. You can almost taste the fear-laced hope in that attic. André isn't alone. Across Normandy, in barns and cellars, other cells stir. The Maquis, those rugged fighters of the Armée Secrète and the communist FTP, arm themselves with Sten guns smuggled from RAF drops. They've been playing cat and mouse with the occupiers, sabotaging telephone lines, derailing supply trains bound for the Atlantic Wall. In May alone, over 3,500 intelligence reports flooded to London, detailing gun emplacements, troop movements, the very concrete bunkers Hitler boasted as impenetrable. Philippe Kieffer, training his 177 commandos in England, relies on these whispers. He's no stranger to defiance. A 44-year-old veteran of World War I, he fled to Britain in 1940, forming the Premier Bataillon des Fusiliers Marins Commandos under de Gaulle's Free French. Now, as Capitaine de Corvette, he drills his men for the beaches, but it's the resistance on the ground who pave the way. The night deepens. André signals his team, 3 knocks on the floorboards. Below, in the kitchen, Marie, a courier with the poise of a schoolteacher but the nerves of steel, slips out into the bocage, the dense hedgerows that veil their movements. She's carried messages before, dodging Feldgendarmerie checkpoints, her bicycle basket hiding explosives. Tonight, it's different. The air buzzes with expectancy. Allied bombers drone overhead, softening targets, but the Germans are alert. SS Panzer divisions lurk nearby, Das Reich division itching for reprisals after Oradour-sur-Glâne's shadow looms in memory. André's cell has lost friends, executed in reprisal raids, tortured in Gestapo basements. Yet hope flickers. De Gaulle's broadcasts from London fuel it. The hour of battle will come. As midnight approaches, the group gathers. Maps unfold under candlelight. Omaha, Utah, Gold, Juneau, sword beaches marked in faint pencil. They've heard rumors of the Armada, thousands of ships, paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne, gliders slicing the night. But imagination pales. André assigns tasks, disrupt communications at dawn, guide paratroopers if they scatter. Tension coils like a spring. A distant explosion, perhaps a test sabotage elsewhere, rattles the windows. Eyes meet in the dim light. No words needed. This is the pivot from endurance to action. Outside, the wind whispers through the apple orchards, carrying the faint tang of the Channel.
André tunes the radio one last time, heart pounding. The BBC falls silent on the codes, but the message echoes. It's begun. Underground defiance stirs, ready to erupt. But as the first hints of false dawn streak the sky, something unimaginable approaches. The thunder of liberation that will shatter their world. What André and his comrades don't yet know is that the scale of what's coming will dwarf their boldest dreams, turning hidden whispers into a roar that echoes across the beaches. June 6, 1944, 1:47 a.m. The same stone farmhouse outside Cannes, but now the night itself seems to tremble. André Moreau stands at the cracked window, breath fogging the glass, staring east toward the Cotentin Peninsula. A low, unnatural rumble rolls across the darkened fields. Not thunder, not artillery. It's the sky tearing open. Thousands of feet above, the drone swells into a roar. C-47 sky trains in endless V formations thunder overhead, navigation lights winking out as they cross the coast. Inside those bellies, men of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, paratroopers like Private First Class John Steele of the 505th, whose chute will soon snag on St. Mère-Église church steep, sit in tense silence, legs dangling over black voids, static lines hooked, faces blackened with cocoa powder and charcoal. Stick by stick, green lights flash, they leap into the flak-laced dark. Back on the ground, André's jaw tightens. You can almost feel the vibration in your chest as the armada passes, hundreds of aircraft blotting out the stars. Flak bursts bloom orange against the clouds, tracers stitch red lines upward. Some planes don't make it. One spirals nearby, trailing fire, crashing into a hedgerow with a concussion that rattles the farmhouse windows. André's team freezes. German patrols will swarm soon. But the drops continue. Pathfinders from the 101st already hit the ground near Heesville, setting Eureka beacons to guide the main force. Scattered sticks land in flooded fields Rommel ordered inundated, or tangle in bocage thorns. Yet others land on target, drop zone C near St. Mary-du-Mont, where Lieutenant Colonel Edward Krauss will soon raise the first American flag on French soil. André snaps into motion. "To your posts," he hisses. Marie grabs her bicycle, a satchel of grenades hidden under loaves of bread. Others shoulder Sten guns and gammon bombs. Their orders: sever telephone cables along the Cannes-Falaise road, ambush any German reaction force heading towards the beaches, light beacons from misdropped paratroopers. The plan is precise, rehearsed in whispers, but nothing prepared them for this. By 3 a.m., the eastern sky flickers with distant explosions, Allied bombers pounding coastal batteries at Merville and Pointe du Hoc. André's group slips into the bocage, shadows among shadows. The air smells of cordite now, carried on the wind. Somewhere near Ranville, British 6th Airborne gliders crash land after towing ropes snap, and Major John Howard's Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry seizes Pegasus Bridge in a coup de main that stuns the Germans. André pauses at a crossroads. A lost American paratrooper stumbles from the mist. Sergeant Harrison Summers of the 502nd, cricket clicker in hand. Click, click. André answers with the countersign. Relief floods the soldier's face. In broken French and English, they exchange intelligence. The beaches are next. Thousands of ships. Thousands. The resistance fighters' mind reels. They had imagined hundreds, perhaps a brigade or two, slipping ashore under cover of darkness. Not this. Not an avalanche. Then, just before 5:30 a.m., the eastern sky ignites. From their vantage on a low rise near the village of Perrières-sur-le-Don, André and two comrades watched the sea come alive. First, a low growl, naval guns warming, then flashes, hundreds of them like heat lightning across the entire coast from Ouistreham to the Cotentin. Battleships Texas and Arkansas, cruisers Glasgow and Enterprise, destroyers pounding the Atlantic wall in a barrage that shakes the earth 30 kilometers inland. Shells scream overhead, trailing red-hot arcs. The ground quakes. Concrete casemates that took years to build disintegrate in seconds. German gunners at Widerstadt's Nest 62 on Omaha Beach stagger from their bunkers, ears bleeding. André drops to his knees, not from fear, but awe. The sea itself seems ablaze, muzzle flashes reflecting off low clouds, turning night into eerie twilight. And beyond the gunfire, silhouettes emerge, the Armada. Landing craft in endless lines, Higgins boats and LCAs churning towards shore, escorted by rocket-firing typhoons and destroyers laying smoke. On Sword Beach, at 7:25 a.m. French time, Capitaine de Corvette Philippe Kieffer's 177 French commandos, green berets with the tricolor shield, storm ashore with the British 3rd Division. Kieffer, cigarette clenched despite the spray.
June 6, 1944. Late morning. The Bocage Lanes near Couleville-sur-Mer, just inland from Omaha Beach. André Moreau and two of his cell, Marie and young Pierre, barely 19, push through the hedgerows toward the sound of unrelenting gunfire. The naval barrage has lifted, but the beaches still burn. Smoke rises in thick black columns from burning duplex drive tanks and landing craft gutted on the shingle. The tide, stained crimson, pushes bodies gently against obstacles, Czech hedgehogs and Belgian gates bristling with mines. From their elevated position on a bluff, André lowers his binoculars and feels the air leave his lungs. This is Omaha, the bloodiest stretch of sand in the entire assault. Below, men of the U.S. 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions, supported by the battered 2nd Ranger Battalion, claw their way off the beach. Higgins boat ramps drop again and again, disgorging soldiers into waist-deep water under crisscrossing MG-42 fire. The chatter of those machine guns, Hitler's buzzsaws, echoes up the bluffs like tearing canvas. Tracers skip across the water, mortar rounds detonate in geysers of sand and flesh. André has seen death before, friends hanged in Caen's Place Saint-Martin, partisans shot in ditches, but nothing like this. Hundreds lie where they fell, some still moving, calling weakly for medics who can't reach them through the fire-swept shallows. A young lieutenant, helmet gone, drags himself forward using only his elbows, trailing blood. You can almost hear his ragged breathing from here. Marie's hand flies to her mouth. Pierre turns away, retching into the grass. They had dreamed of this day for 4 years, sabotaged trains, hidden downed airmen, passed intelligence at the risk of their lives. They imagined cheers, grateful allies marching inland, flowers thrown from windows. Instead, they witnessed slaughter on an industrial scale. Yet even here, defiance flickers. Rangers under Lieutenant Colonel James Rudder scale the sheer cliffs of Pointe du Hoc under grappling hooks and ropes, having silenced the feared 155mm guns hours earlier, only to find they'd been moved inland. On the beach itself, small knots of men push forward. Brigadier General Norman Cota, wading ashore with the 29th, shouts the words that will become legend. Rangers lead the way. A breach opens at the Vierville draw. Engineers blow gaps in the wire. Slowly, agonizingly, the tide turns. André forces himself to look longer. He must remember this. Every body is a debt the resistance owes. These boys from Nebraska and New York paying in blood for France's freedom. A German half-track rumbles along the coastal road below, heading east to counterattack. André signals. Now it's their turn. Pierre sets the gammon grenade. Marie watches for patrols. The explosion flips the vehicle into a ditch, secondary blasts cooking off ammunition. Cheers rise faintly from American troops spotting the plume, mistaking it for naval fire, perhaps, but the effect is the same: momentum. By early afternoon, the 3 resistance fighters work their way closer, guiding scattered groups of the 101st Airborne who landed miles off target.
One sergeant, mud-caked and furious, embraces André when he hears French spoken without fear. "You people are still fighting," he says in halting phrases learned from phrase books. André simply nods. Words fail. Farther west, at Utah Beach, the scene is calmer but no less astonishing. The U.S. 4th Infantry Division pours ashore almost unopposed after the bombardment displaced German defenses. Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt, Jr., son of the president, cane in hand, despite arthritis, leads waves forward, the oldest man on the beaches at 56, earning the Medal of Honor this day. But it's on Juno and Sword that French eyes truly widen. At Bernières-sur-Mer, Canadian troops link up with local civilians who emerge waving hidden tricolors. And at Wisterham, Philippe Kieffer's commandos, those 177 Free French in green berets, clear the casino strongpoint house by house. Kieffer himself is wounded twice, in the leg and calf, yet refuses evacuation, pressing on to link up with the 6th Airborne at Pegasus Bridge. His men suffer 50% casualties, but they are the first organized French unit to fight on home soil since 1940. Word spreads through resistance networks like wildfire. The French are back, not just in spirit, but boots on the ground, shoulder to shoulder with the Allies. As evening approaches, André's group reaches a command post near Saint-Laurent-de-Mer. An American captain, bandaging a shoulder wound, shares K-rations and news. All 5 beaches linked, bridgeheads holding, thousands more pouring in. The captain claps André on the back. "You folks did good work cutting those lines, kept the Krauts blind." André manages a tired smile. The awe hasn't faded. The sheer impossibility of the armada, the sky darkened by aircraft, the sea hidden beneath ships, but now it's tempered by something deeper, gratitude and resolve. Because the beaches are secure, but Normandy is not yet free. Panzer divisions are already rolling north, and the bocage will become a killing ground for weeks to come. As the sun dips red over the channel, André looks back one last time at the beaches. The tide is coming in again, washing away some of the evidence, but not the memory. The resistance never imagined this scale of sacrifice, and they never imagined their own role was only just beginning.